being heard? Am I audible? I am seeing no response. Okay, I have received a response. Yay. Is it like quiet or I don't know. Like, do I need to be turned up in your opinion? Okay. Also, you have a sword now. What if I switch the mic to this setting? Does this setting work better? I don't know, the levels don't look like it's working better. Much worse, okay. I'm assuming this one's also not as good. This is supposed to be like the first one minus 10 decibels, so pretty sure it's also worse. Okay. Back to the first setting. Let's see, I think I can turn up the gain on this. Let's see. Levels, microphone advanced. No, that's speech recognition. That's not gonna help at all. You can't even see what I'm doing. This is... Oh no. Let's see. That's not helpful. Advanced audio properties. Oh, I think this is about it. Maybe I just need to talk louder, I guess. Well, not really sure how to go about fixing that. I was just saying oh no because I was just clicking a bunch of things, like opening and closing windows. What if I put this down here? Does this work better at all? Check. Check. I don't know, it looks a little better on the levels from what I can see. Like this is on top of the box. This is in front of my face on the desk. 1 or 2? Okay, louder is good. Now let's see what happens when we start the game. Oh, there it goes. It's starting. You can probably see a cursor. Okay, how's the sound now? Like, you're gonna wanna see me, or I guess hear me, like, slightly above, but, like, I don't want the game to be too quiet. Like, right now it's at about, like, 50% of what it is, if you think it could go louder. Good that this title screen actually... Okay, no louder. It's good that this title screen actually has music, because Dark Souls 1 didn't have music on the title screen. Okay. We're going to start a new game. Again.
Yes. Indeed. It is called Lothric, where the transitory lands of the Lords of Cinder converge. In venturing north, the pilgrims discover the truth of the old words. Go without thrones.
And then they die. Very sad.
When the link of fire is threatened, the bell tolls, unearthing the old Lords of Cinder from graves. Aldrich, saint of the deep. Farron's undead legion, the Abyss Watchers. And the reclusive lord of the profaned capital. Yon the giant. Only in truth, the lords will abandon their thrones. And the unkindled will rise. Nameless, accursed undead, unfit even to be cinder. And so it is that ash seeketh embers.
Worried the game crashed there for a second. It's always weird, just like the music just cuts off and though I don't really know if I've ever played a game on PC that hasn't, like, you know, done something weird in some way. That's just the nature of playing games on PC. I don't know how it would be on console. Let's see. We will name our young female Succoria. The stats are slightly different from the first one. I don't know. Well, they're not that different. Actually, they're not different at all. I'm a liar. Let's see. Yeah, we're gonna go with warrior. These are a lot less useful than in the first game. I mean, like, most of the ones in the first game are like these are all just consumables. Like, you can find all of these anywhere in the game. You can also pick nothing. No sign of a burial gift or otherwise. They're just like little things that you can get. Ringlet sets a small red jewel, raises maximum HP. Not sure if that's like a... Oh, that's a ring, so... So, like, that would be good to start off with, I guess. A little bit more health. Divine Blessing. Warm, blessed, holy water fully restores HP and cures ailments. it's just a consumable. You can see them, like, this is my inventory down here, so like you can see it changes where it is. So Hidden Blessing fully restores FP. I'm pretty sure that's like mana in this game. It's a little bit different. So in the first game you just got like a certain number of castings from every time you stopped at a bonfire. But this game has MP. Black Firebomb, that's just explosive. Fire Gem. So you can equip weapons, have like you can have weapons with secondary effects, so that just equips fire as a secondary effect to your weapon. Sovereignless Soul, that's just souls, which are experience in this game. Use them for leveling up and buying things. Rustic Gold Coin. Greatly increases item discovery, that's just a consumable. You can invade people with the cracked red eye orb, but I don't really feel like invading people. Yes, flaming weapons are good. Young White Branch. Blend into environment, but only once. These are like all over the place, so I'm not too concerned. They're actually kind of fun to use, though. I'm gonna go with the life ring. Alright. Now what do we want to look like? It can look like a commoner, a northern warrior, an Astora noble, a Dragon Academy student, a Kareem novice, a Katarina merrymaker, a Serpentine traveler, a Great Swamp outcast, Londor Shadow of Death. She looks very, very sad. And Irithilian. I mean, I don't know how long I'll keep the life ring on, like, but I mean, it'll at least be, you know, something I can equip from the beginning and hang on to that for a little bit until I get some better rings. Very gray, yes. We can be skinny, or skinnier, or big, or bigger but slightly skinnier, or bigger but also slightly skinnier in different areas. You have tiny head, you have big head. I'm gonna say normal sized head at the very least. Seriously. Alright. Stay young. Our young, sprightly female. She will have... I mean, all the samples are just like getting hit, apparently. It's... I mean, not that you talk at all in this game, but we're gonna go with the mature voice. Average or muscular? Muscular twig. And thick body hair. Oh. I can adjust my head size manually. Not really seeing the chest is more like shoulders, it looks like. Abdomen. Legs. Oh, they're still pretty skinny. No, don't discard changes. Okay. Now go back. Skin color. How do I be more pale? Or I could just be beet red. Or bright yellow. This didn't work out as intended. Although I guess I am, well, I was a lot more pale. I'm just gonna not mess with that. Oh good. I can make it pale easily. Obviously I need more blue. And more purple. Everything needs more purple. Red, green. Love how it's like color, 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 and then pallid and rosy. Alright, she looks like she's currently dying of dysentery. That's about what I was going for. Yeah, like the rest of me is just... like the rest of me doesn't look like it's changing at all. It's just like my face. Laugh lines. Go for the darkest of laugh lines. Perfect. Make myself more masculine or feminine. Not really sure. Not really sure what that does. Form emphasis. We'll go with that. Face shape. Nose should definitely be wider. Nose to forehead ratio. Now that you mention it, it's a very long nose. I think I just made it longer. Face protrusion. I'm just like changing these. I don't even know what's happening anymore. smaller though. There we go. No, don't discard changes. Nose ridge. Change everything. Nostrils. I feel like this might be quicker if I did. Nope, I can't drag them. Okay. Never mind. There. The biggest of nostrils. Okay, maybe not that big. Cheeks. Should be narrow. Yes, I need them for sniffing things. All the things to sniff. Should be the saddest. So she apparently looks like she's dying of dehydration. Dying of dehydration because she can't fit enough water in her tiny mouth. I just wanted to give her a skinny face. That was it. And then this happened. And we're not done yet. We got hair to do. Obviously gray hair. I kind of like that one. Or that one. It's okay, you don't have to look at the face very much after this. This is just for fun. There we go. Color is fine. Beard. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's perfect. Cosmetics. Only a little terrifying. Isn't she pretty? Suppose there's a limit, I guess, to how pretty you can be. I don't know. I'll spare her the face markings, I guess. See, look, you can hardly tell. Is that what you think it is? The face doesn't fit the head? Do I need to make the head smaller? Well, I made her head slightly smaller. Well, she ain't pretty, but you don't have to be pretty to link fires, I guess. Not a part of the job requirement. I mean, really, we just arose from a pile of ash in a graveyard, so I wouldn't expect to come out pretty. And this is us, with armor and equipment. And we have on our ring. We can equip 4 rings, and we have armor. And we have an axe and a shield. And we have our Estus flask, which I don't even know what we can use currently. Oh yeah. We can chop. Estus flask that recovers our FP. No, I'm pretty sure graveyards are not beauty parlors. I mean, if you want to build your beauty parlor next to a graveyard or in a graveyard, then be my guest, but I'm gonna go ahead and say that's on the list of not good business decisions. Not really sure how graveyards affect property values. fighting this thing is completely optional. But it's not that difficult if you know what to do. Spend a bunch of time here focusing on this and I feel like I have something to prove. Yay. Jump for joy. And we get a Titanite scale for that. I think that said scale. Yeah, scale. Those are used for upgrading weapons. And that's it, really. You get the scale for beating them. There's nothing else over here. There's a blood stain here, probably from some noob dying. There he goes. But yeah, like all these markings on the ground are like tutorial ones, so it's like turn back, don't go this way, or else you're gonna have a bad time. I mean, it's true. He died. Or she died. Whoever they were, they died. And the only solution is to be better. X, use item. Yes. Thank you. That's where we're going. Firelink Shrine. Rested bonfire. And that's it. That's all I get. I get to sit down. And then I get to stop sitting down. Dramatic than it needed to be, but worked. See, I've at least played a bit of it, so I know like, what to look for, what to expect. I like the first part of this game. Eventually I'm going to get to a point where I don't know what's coming next, and that should be fine. Yeah, resting on a bonfire causes all the enemies to respawn, so you gotta be careful about that. Yeah, try it this time. Alright. Are you ready? I hope you're ready. 'Cause I'm not ready. Glad you were ready. That's probably why we made it through. But like, we got more souls from beating the Titanite. Or it's not a Titanite demon. I don't know what it is. Like a Titanite lizard or something. I'm sure I'll find out. Maybe the item description will tell me. But like, we got more souls from killing that thing than we did from the actual boss. Show item info. Crystal lizard, that's what it is. I think. It's not easy to hear me? Okay, I'll turn down me for a second. I'll turn down the game a little bit more. We'll see what happens next time things get crazy. Oh, damn it. Gotta bring chat back in. Crystal lizard sounds accurate. Yeah, I guess so. But there's also like these tiny things that could also be crystal lizards. Maybe they're baby crystal lizards, I don't know. I'll have to do more research. I'm sure we'll come across some of the little ones. Like they were... Like that thing wasn't in the first game. That's pretty much why I don't know what it is. Like, I know most of the enemy names from the first one, but like they had Titanite demons, which were kind of the same thing, but like they look completely different. They serve the same purpose of being like sort of like mini-boss enemies that give you weapon upgrade items. And here we are at Firelink Shrine. And this is our friend the Firekeeper.
Welcome to the bonfire, unkindled one. I am a firekeeper. I tend to the flame, and tend to thee. The lords have left their thrones, and must be delivered to them. To this end, I am at thy side. Ashen One, to be unkindled is to be a vessel for souls. Sovereignless souls will become thy strength. I will show thee how. Ashen One, bring me souls plucked from their vessels.
Well, it's a good thing because we have plenty of souls, and we're
Very
here
well.
to level up.
Then touch the darkness within me.
Can
Take
do.
nourishment from these sovereignless souls.
Just give her some souls, and we level up by smelling her feet. Let's see. Oh, that looks good to me.
Farewell, Ashen One. May the flames guide thee.
See, the first time I played this game, when it first came out, I had no idea what to do at this point. What you're supposed to do is you take the sword that you pulled out of Redux Gundyr, the guy we just fought, and we put it here. And we've made ourselves a bonfire. And from this bonfire, we have to travel to the High Wall of Lothric. That's what I didn't get. Which is kind of weird that, like, you just go through the first part of the game and then it's like, yeah, you have to actually fast travel to get to your next destination. Especially since in the first game, you don't actually get the ability to fast travel until like halfway through the game.
Well, a newcomer, I see. I am Andre. I serve at this shrine as a humble smith, forging weapons. You're in search of the Lords of Cinder, I trust. A toilsome journey, I wager. You'll require good arms. Let me smith you weapons. I am a smith. Such is my purpose.
I mean, my arms are kind of skinny though. Can I have your arms instead? Even just like the thought of like having to fast travel to your next destination, like that's just, it's not really something that you do very often. But something we can do is, well, we can't. If we had more Titanite shards, we could upgrade our
I
weapon.
don't want to see my work squandered.
It's okay. I can still hit hard with my skinny arms. This game doesn't discriminate. Even skinny-armed people can be strong. Oh yeah, and there's this guy.
Ah, another one roused from the sleep of death. Well, you're not alone. We unkindled are worthless. Can't even die right. Gives me conniptions. And they'd have us seek the Lords of Cinder and return them to their moulding thrones. But we're talking true legends, with the metal to link the fire. We're not fit to lick their boots.
I mean, that lady over there will let you sniff your
Don't
feet.
you think?
Sniff her feet if you want. It was good. I
What
got
a sick joke.
some.
Asking
some level
us
ups from
to
it.
seek the Lords of Cinder and return them to their moulding thrones.
Oh, yeah.
Talking.
I already said that. Most people have different things to say if you talk to them multiple times. This guy not so much. He's just gonna be a Debbie Downer this whole time. And we've got our thrones that we need to go and talk to, have a stern conversation with all the previous Lords of Cinder and convince them to come back and sit in their chairs properly.
All that unkindled,
But this
and a
guy's nice.
seeker of lords. I am Ludleth of Corland. Look not in bewilderment as I say. I linked the fire long ago, becoming the Lord of Cinder. If substantiation be thy want, set thine eyes upon my charred corpse. This sad cadaver. No need to be coy. Have a closer look.
So this guy is also a Lord of Cinder.
Do not be away.
Sounds like we're
over
collecting toddlers for lunchtime, getting them to sit in their chairs properly. Well, that's pretty much what it is. Like, so that guy's the only one that's gonna be nice. That's why he gets to wear a crown, I guess. But like, he also has no legs, so maybe he just doesn't get the option. I don't know. But the Lords of Cinder are people who have linked the flame before, and that's, like, I'll explain that soon enough. But like, we can look, it's like the Watchers of the Abyss. Got Yorm the Giant of the Profane Capital. Yes, too much work to run away, but no legs. Can confirm. High King Lothric, last hope of his line. So, King Lothric, I don't know if he's, I can't remember if he's a Lord of Cinder or like the person that is currently tasked with linking the fire. There's Ludleth the Exiled, that's our friend there. And then we have Saint Aldrich of the Deep, which is that gross thing we saw in the beginning. So like, I'm pretty sure King Lothric is the one that was supposed to link the fire right now in this current age, but he's refusing to do so. So they resurrected old Lords of Cinder that had linked the fire previously, and they're like, nah, fuck that, we're leaving, we don't care. So they just kind of left. And I guess, so now like undead have been rising from the ash as unkindled ones and are now being tasked with finding the Lords of Cinder and putting them in their place and taking their souls back here, as well as defeating Prince Lothric and getting him to do his job, I guess. Not really much else to see inside the building. There are a couple things out here that we can get. This is our friend, the Master. He has a big sword. And no gloves. Yeah, he's not really our friend. Not when he does things like that.
Ah, well, just good, wasn't he?
Forgot we should do this.
Pretty be careful.
Oh yeah. Forgot about that. Did it change? Did it work? Let's see. It looks like it worked. Okay. I'm glad you're here, because I would have completely forgot. I'm pretty sure we've been sitting here for like, I don't know, an hour, maybe. So like, you can fight him and you can get his weapon, but... And I did that last time, but I don't know. I think I'm gonna pass on it. Because like, it's a dexterity weapon. I don't really want a dexterity weapon. Well, like I'm gonna take a quick break after I just finish clearing out this area before we move on to the high wall of Lothric. And I'll see how long it's been when I check that. And I guess if anybody else has popped in and watched me play this for all of 5 seconds. Remember. I think that's everything. I'm gonna run around here real quick. And a couple more things to chop. Other than the Master, we'll come back for him. Like, I know the weapon that he drops, I don't really want it, so we'll pass on that headache for the time being. Hopefully that's enough souls to get us one more level.
Ashen, produce the coiled sword at the bonfire.
But
The mark of ash will guide thee to the land of the lords, to Lothric, where the homes of the lords converge.
I did that. It's right there.
Very well, then Tuthagen.
All good. I just barely had enough. Strength.
Farewell, Ashen One. May the flames guide thee.
Yeah, I suppose I didn't address this
What
lady
pleasure
either.
to make thine acquaintance, Ashen One. I am but a humble handmaid of the shrine. Weapons, armor, trinkets, and spells. I've lots of little things to ease the burden of a weary traveler. And yes, I'm undead too, but not so charitable as to give my goods away. Ashen One, fetch souls and bring them to me. As is thy wont, no?
Yeah, she just sells things. I can buy stones. Or a stone, I guess. But I don't think she has anything that I really want, so maybe a halberd. I don't know, I might come back for that, but
Ashen One, be sure.
okay, I'm just gonna take a quick break here just to stretch and get some more water. So I will be back in a second. It appears to have been 1 hour and 4 minutes. And what button do I use to mute you again? This one. back to it. So we fast travel from Firelink Shrine to the High Wall of Lothric. Yeah, I don't know what time you're planning on going to bed, but I figure I'll just stream until then. I don't know, if you're gonna go to bed around like 11 or so. And we just start in this lovely room. Yeah, excuse me. Got some weird things. That's about it. And a door. Okay, that's good. Like these first few times, I'd like you to be here with me. But I mean, that was loud. Ideally, eventually, I'd be able to stream without you being here. Hopefully. I mean, it's not really... Yeah, if things are gonna be loud, I'm gonna turn it down just a little bit more. There. -10. Hopefully that's a bit better. I'm sure by the end of this game I'll have a proper audio balance. But as I was saying, mostly the problem I have is getting started. Well, that's the first problem, is getting started. Like, it's like back when I first started working overnight at the hotel, and like, I'd sleep all day, and then I'd get up at like 7 o'clock, and I'd just sit around for several hours being like an anxious ball of crap, and, you know, it's just not fun. So like I just sit here and it's like I wanna stream, but I get super nervous, and then I just like I don't know when's the right time, or like what, or you know, I just question everything and it doesn't work out. Oh, hello. Hello, doggy. But like, the thing that makes me nervous is like not so much the streaming thing. Like, I'm fine with the right time is when I have time. But like, I've always got time. That's the thing. Yes, big doggo. But yeah, like I was mostly telling myself that, like, you know, I'm gonna start streaming and I have nothing to worry about because, like, nobody knows who I am and nobody's gonna be watching. But I felt like that was a bad mentality to have when I was streaming, like, that nobody's gonna be watching, because then what happens when somebody actually does start watching? It's like, if I don't want people to watch, I should just record it or something, but I do want people to watch. that it's just a matter of getting comfortable with that idea. So, like, what really makes me nervous is, like, the thought that, you know, like, somebody is eventually going to come in here and say something, and I don't know what that's gonna be, or how I will respond, or, you know. And if I just spend this time mostly to myself, just like sitting here by myself, not talking to anybody, first off, like, I need to know that, like, I can actually look and respond to things that are going on in chat. That's why I asked you to participate through that instead of, like, just sitting next to me. Well, that's one of the reasons. So, like, I need to get used to that. Like, first off, like, I'd feel bad if somebody came in and just, like, said, hey, and I didn't notice. Yes, please, chat. Ask me things. Ask me about what the hell's going on in this game, because I certainly don't know. But, like, yes, thank you. I appreciate you being a chattering-er. And it's like, I just, like, one, I want to get used to, like, being able to play a game and, like, be able to look at something before that becomes, like, a big problem. Because, like, if it takes a long time for people to start watching what I'm doing, then, like, if it takes a long time for people to start watching me, then I'm gonna get more and more used to that chat box being empty and not looking at it. But, like, if I'm here right off the bat, looking and seeing what you're saying, like, and responding to it, I mean, like, I mostly play video games with, like, something going on in the background anyway, so. But it's not like I have to actively engage with the YouTube video that I'm watching. Like, these guys aren't even attacking me, I'm just being an asshole at this point. But yeah, like, the other reason why I didn't really want, why I suggested you be in the other room instead of, like, watching over my shoulder or, like, chatting with me is because, like, it becomes a different, yes, slaughtering. It becomes a different thing at that point. Like, you know, it's not just me playing a game, it's us playing a game. Even if you're not playing, you're just in the background. Like, you're a part of the stream in a much different way than you are if you're just in the chat. And, like, if that's what my stream becomes, like, I don't know, like, I don't want to say I don't want you here. Like, I'm certain that, like, yeah, off the edge, I'm certain that, like, at some point we will, like, do things together on stream if this, well, when, I'm gonna stop saying if, when this becomes a little bit more developed, like, then, yeah, like, we can sit down and we can play things together, but, like, it's a lot, like, it puts more weight and more pressure on me if, like, you're there all the time, because I have to consider, like, it's no longer just me putting myself out there on the internet for other people, it's us, and, like, when it's my channel and, like, the things that I want to do with it, and if my audience starts off expecting it to be us doing things, and it gets to a point where I want to do things by myself, then, like, that's gonna be a major source of anxiety for me. Like, you know, I have to make the decision of, like, you know, do I play something that we can play together because it pleases an audience, or do I play something that I want to play because it's what I want to play? And like, I want this to be like my space. You know, I don't want to have to, for one, tie you down every single time I want to go live, and two, like, you know, it's just like, I need something like this. Oh, come on. There we go, down the ladder. Needed to hold down and the B button. Yeah, and it's like, it's not that I don't want you here, like I said, but like, you know, when it's, like, there are other people involved that are going to be watching. That too, yeah, like, cause, you know, like, it's late right now, it's past your normal bedtime on an average day, and like, you know, I can kind of fix that by starting earlier, but you know me, I would much rather work late. Very noisy dragon. Can you take care of these guys down here too, please? Just a little bit. There we go, thank you. Yeah, I think this game has more dragons than the last one. And yeah, like, just being able to separate, like, when this is, you know, yeah, that's dependent on your work schedule as well. And I mean, once I get a job, my work schedule, it's also something to consider, but like, you know, like that's, like, when I get a job, like, once I find a job there, yeah, as an early day person. Yeah, did it work? Did it go through? Yeah, is that too? Okay. Yeah, like, once I get a job, then, yeah, like, this whole thing's gonna change a bit. But, you know, that's just a matter of, like, changing when I can do it. And, like, I've been thinking about it quite a bit, obviously, over the last little while. Oh, yeah, I see that. It's okay, I know what you mean. I'm used to walking around two-handing everything. Not used to using my shield. But yeah, like, I've been thinking about it a lot, and like, yeah, gotta protect. Like, I've been thinking about it a lot, and in my position, when I'm sitting here doing, like, you know, maybe submitting, like, one job application a day, and like, that takes about a couple hours of my day. Like, I need to be doing more. Like, I went from spending the last year working like 60 hours a week on school and other stuff, and like only playing video games in my free time, and that was it. So like, not only have I just like stunted my social life, but like, video games is apparently all I know how to do these days. So it's like, I should be streaming every day. Like, I should be on, you know, just like doing what I can to show that, you know, like I'm working, I'm capable of doing something, and like, you know, I'm capable of taking a project of my own and seeing it through. And I mean, there's no obligation to stream every day. Yeah, like, while I don't have time constraints, it would definitely be a good idea to just be, like, doing this all the time. You know. It's just, like, I get so nervous. I'm like, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to say, and I just, like, you know, when I don't have anybody else around to, like, bother me, tell me that I need to be doing something, or even like just saying like, hey, like, you're playing this game. Fuck. Had to stop and focus for a second. But yeah, like if I like having somebody there to be like hey, did you stream? Or like, hey, do you want to? Like, I'll be there to watch you. Or even having somebody like I don't want people. I recognize that the big thing about streaming is coming in and seeing people do things, and like it's mostly about the people that that people end up coming in because they want to see these people, they want to talk to them, and you know, it's like I've read a couple papers about how like the relationship between like a streamer and their chat is much more of like a friend to friend relationship that people feel than like when people idolize other celebrities that like they see in movies and stuff, because like they actually, like, you're sitting down, it's basically like sitting down in a living room with them.
Speak.
And being able to talk to them.
Then take note.
And like, you know, I'm not gonna say no to people saying that to me. Like, of course I want people to like me for who I am. But like, you know, I also want to hear somebody say like, hey, I want to see you like play more of this game. Like, I want to see more of this game, and I've been enjoying watching you play it. Like, that's the kind of thing that I want to hear from other people. So like, I'm playing this, and like, I'm playing this because I want to play this.
Farewell, Ashen
Like,
One.
Clearly I don't have anybody else in my life that wants to watch me play Dark Souls. Like, I don't know anybody else that has played this game. Like, most of them have just like, you know, this isn't the kind of game that they play. So, you know, I've been, and being a musician, like, I know about determining your audience and kind of gauging that, and it's like if I had been doing this for a while, then yeah, like I could very easily. Is this really? No, I didn't think so. Like you could easily, like, if I had been doing this for a while, it's easy for me to say like, hey, I'm playing this game, if you're interested in checking it out, like, you should come and watch me. But like, when it's my first time, it's like, you know, like, hey, come watch me play video games. Like, okay, that's nice, go play your video game. But at the same time, it's like, I don't want to play a game just because I want somebody else to watch me. You know, like, there's a dozen different games that I could have chosen to play to start off with, that I could have convinced other friends to come and watch me, because like those are games that they're interested in. But like, you know, this is a game that I want to be interested in, that I want to play, and you know, I want to see it through. And honestly, I wish I had the strength to be able to go through it by myself, but I don't. So that's why you're here. Yeah, like that's the thing. Like this, like that's why I chose this game. Like this game at its core is about being able to face your fears and being able to go out and, like, you know, face failure and still be able to see it through. Yes, I'm glad that you're happy to be here. That's good. I would be upset if you weren't having fun. We'll go this way later. But yeah, like this is what this game is about. And, like, if I can sit down and be able to stream 50 hours of this game front to back, then like I feel like I can get through anything. Like I can, like you know, what's it to stream any other game if I manage to get through this one? And it's not like I'm not having fun. Like I enjoy this game. Like, you know, if I didn't enjoy the constant challenge, well, I guess that worked out. Like, if I didn't enjoy the constant challenge of this game, then, you know, I wouldn't be playing it. I'd 100% play something else that's been sitting in my Steam library that I meant to play for God knows how long. No, just take a bomb to the face, and that works. Oh, it's locked. Sorry, buddy, you're stuck in there for a bit. Yeah, that's the thing. Like if I had a capture card, I don't know. Like, there's so many different options that I could have done. Like, you know, I probably would have played the first game on Switch. Like, the only reason I'm not playing the first game on this is because, well, one, I didn't want to buy the remastered version on PC when I had the original already. But the original version on PC is bugged, so, like, I remember when I first got that, I think it was the summer when we were up living with Mom, and like, I played it for a bit, but, like, I had these frame rate issues which just gave me a headache near immediately, and I just couldn't play. So it's always been a game that I've been meaning to get through. Oh, there's a crystal lizard. Tiny one. Oh, I didn't kill it fast enough. It disappeared. Sad. Yeah, and I mean, like, I can handle buggy games, but it was mostly, like, the frame rate issue was giving me a massive headache, so, like, I didn't even get through the first area of the game without just, you know, yes, very tiny. Lots of chops. But yeah, like, playing it on the Switch was, like, that was a good experience. Well, I wasn't gonna mess with this guy, but he's apparently gonna ruin my day. Yeah, Subnautica is definitely like a keyboard and mouse thing. I don't know, like, I don't know if it might have been because of, like, did you try adjusting the field of view in that? I don't know if you can. Like, most games on PC have a field of view slider. But, like, I find that, like, adjusting the field of view in first-person games on PC is definitely, like, it helps with the motion sickness, particularly because, like, this is such a big monitor. Like, it's 32 inches, and when you're sitting, like, only a couple feet away from it. So, like, it's kind of, like, it messes with some people more than others, but, like, it's mostly just, like, it feels weird to have, like, the perspective of something being first person, and it's supposed to be, like, you know, looking through the eyes of somebody, but, like, you know, it's kind of stretched out, so it can mess with some people. I've never really had much of an issue with it. Like a lot of people have been having issues with it with Fallout 76. I haven't had much of a problem, but I don't know, I also lean back a lot when I play that game, so, you know, it gives me a good, like, 4 feet from the screen. Anyway, we're gonna talk to this lady.
The wait has been long, unkindled one. I am Emma, High Priestess of Lothric Castle. Allow me to speak frankly. You will not find the Lords of Cinder here. They have left, gone, to their churning homes converging at the base of this castle. Head to the bottom of the high wall, forge on through the great gate, and raise this banner to proceed.
I got a banner. Now, do I have... Let's see. I do have a homeward bone. I'm gonna put that there. Firebomb. Also got gold pine resin. And some souls. Excuse me. Yeah, I think the audio issues mostly has to do with, like, the distance. Also, I can always drop a stream link into my little friend Discord and see if any of them want to pop by if they want. Not right now, but definitely I would appreciate that going forward. Like, if this is something that they'd be interested in watching, then yeah, like, definitely. I would appreciate having other people to watch. Oh, that's another one. That's another thing too, like I'd like to get the webcam out here, like another reason why I have so much anxiety about streaming is because, like, you know, I've got this going, and I've got my little death counter in the corner, and that's like the most improvement I've made to the stream in, you know, since starting. And like, I'm such a perfectionist when it comes to things that like I can't stand, like, you know, I feel like it's not worth advertising. You know, I like, how am I supposed to convince my friends that it's like, you know, you should come and watch this when it's like, you know, subpar production and not something that they actually want to watch. Do you think I overthink things? I think I overthink things. See, I keep stopping on the ladders because in Dark Souls 1, if you just, like, to slide down the ladders, you had to, like, just hold the button without pushing the thing. But in this one, you have to be holding down. Hey, look. Keep it fun. Get back here. Ah. I need your... Uh-oh. That didn't really work out, now did it? There are no juicy, crystally innards for me. Go. Yeah, I know, it's mostly interaction. There's a much better way of handling it. So as long as you think as long as things are working, I don't think production is necessary. Yeah, that's fair. It's just like, I don't know, like, I always have a problem thinking that way just because I don't like getting comfortable with that idea. Because, you know, I've been watching people on Twitch since 2013, like, that's like for the last 5 years, and I've seen a lot of people do a lot of different things, and it's not really fair for me to judge since, you know, this is... like, I'm gonna call this my first real stream when I'm not, you know, drunk and by myself. But, like, I've seen a lot of other people do a lot of other different things, and I'm in no place to judge, but, like, there's a certain balance that you need to have between, you know, not, between production and interaction, like some of the biggest streamers, like, you know, they interact with their chat, but eventually it gets to a point where they're so big and they've got so many people watching that, like, you know, it's almost impossible to interact with the chat directly, and, like, you know, it's like, obviously that's a good thing to be successful, and I highly doubt I will even ever get to that point. There's my weapons. Well, I need more dexterity for that and that. Yeah, I mean, like, you know, it's just, like, if I say that, you know, it doesn't have to be that great of a production, it doesn't have to be perfect, like I just don't want to get comfortable with that idea and not make steps to improve, and then get into the habit of, like, only streaming and not actually trying to, like, not actually trying to do something that, you know, improves the way that I can interact with people. Some of those chats move way too fast to keep track of. Yeah, like, even for some people, especially when, like, they do, like, charity stuff, like, I watch Croton John's streams religiously, and like, you know, I've been watching his chat since there've been like less than 200 people on average in his streams, and it's like now he streams and he gets an average of 2,000 people, and I don't know how he manages to read any of those messages going by, let alone like, you know, people's names and being able to constantly respond to that. And like, he did a charity stream with a bunch of other people that he works with, and like, I think they capped out at like 40,000 people watching, and like, that's insane. And you know, obviously at that point, like, they have to take steps to like you've got people paid to moderate the chat, you've got people, you know, that are there specifically to keep things in line, and it's like, you know, I can't imagine ever getting to that point. Like, you know, he's been making online content for 10 years before he finally managed to get to something like that, but like, it takes a lot of experience and a lot of commitment to do it. But yeah, like, interaction is definitely important. Personality is important. I like to think I have a at least semi-decent personality. But like, at the same time, like, I can't just say, like, I don't want to, like, straight up right now, like, you know, I expect this thing to grow. Yeah, you are obviously biased on that front. But like, I expect the stream to grow someday. Hopefully, like, I can get more people watching, and you know, like, even if like 3-4 years from now I get up to an average of like 20 people watching at a time, like, that's, you know, that's huge in my book. Like, 20 people watching me on a regular basis, that's crazy. But like, that's not all this is. Like, this is, you know, this is my space, this is what and I need to be able to take it and do things with it. And like, I'm always trying to create things, but I always end up like becoming dissatisfied with whatever I'm doing after a certain amount of time. Like, you know, I did graphic design a lot when I was in high school. And after high school, I never touched the thing again outside of, like, you know, school projects. And, like, music's a little bit different. Like, I haven't been playing music because of my wrist problems, but, like, even still, like, just because of, like, certain things that, you know, I don't really want to talk about right now, like, I just, like, I've kind of, like, I've lost the motivation to do it. I have no, like, it's entirely about me. I just, like, you know, it's hard to describe that. Just, like, I know, I'm sorry. I'm hoping I can. Yeah, I didn't kill that guy up there, so he transformed. Take a second to take a look there. But yeah, like, I know yeah, see, that's why I was rushing out and killing that guy every time before he transformed. Now he's just angry. Yeah, I don't really know what's going on with that guy. You can kind of see him in the background. But yeah, like, I just, like, on top of the risk problems, just, like, I kind of just lost interest. Like, I feel like outside of you, like, I didn't really have a lot of people that, like, that wanted to listen to me play, or like wanted me to be around to play. And you know, my friends were there, but I always, like, because I was never, like, it was always, like, my friends were the ones that I was playing with. Like, I couldn't convince other people to come and watch me play because the people that would come and watch me play were the people that I was playing with. And, like, you know, other people came out to watch, but it's like, you know, when you send a message to your best friend, it's like, hey man, I'd really appreciate it if you come to this, and they're like, yeah, sure, and then just don't show up. Like, you know, you can only take that so many times, and like it just becomes frustrating, and you know, I start feeling like I'm disappointing the people that I'm playing with because I'm not fully committed to it every night, because I, like, for reasons outside of their control, and I guess arguably even outside of my control, like, I just decided that, like, you know, it just became another thing that I did on Thursday nights. Just go out and, go out and play music, and it's like, you know, make a couple bucks, have some fun, have a couple drinks. I don't know, like, I don't know how to express to other people that, like, I need, like, I lack confidence in myself, and, like, I feel like every time I've tried to convince somebody else that, like, you know, like, I need help, I need somebody to, like, I just want somebody to support me. And I feel like every time I try and mention that, like, people are always like, oh, you don't, like, don't worry about what other people think, or don't, like similar things to that, like, be your own person and support you. Like, it just, after a while, it starts to feel like it's just, you know, they're just making up an excuse to not have to do it themselves. Like, so, like, you know, I try and do things for myself and, like, for the things that I create, and then, you know, when it doesn't work, I try and talk about that with people and, like, express how I feel, and I feel like I just get brushed off a lot, and I don't know if it's because, like, I'm not very good at expressing how I feel, or if it's because, you know, people just, like, genuinely feel that way. Yeah, it's not an easy thing to deal with, especially when you have a degree in a performing art. You know, it's weird to say that, like, I have a degree in music, and I'm using it to play video games on the internet. Like, I've always felt like those statements of, oh, don't worry about what people think is supposed to refer to, like, the general masses and not the important people in our lives. Yeah, like, I get that. But, like, you know, that statement becomes, like, an easy thing to fall back on when you don't actually have something meaningful to tell somebody. You know, like, I'm trying to talk about the fact that, like, some of my good friends, like, I have a hard time trying to communicate to them, like, what I want and, like, what I wish they would do. And then it's like, oh, don't worry about what other people think. It's like, these are the people that I want to think about me. Like, these are the opinions of the people that I care about. You know, I care about what they look for. You know, like, part of my own interests come from, you know, hanging out with my friends, and eventually I'll figure out how to type. Yeah. I mean, I didn't even notice that you... Oh, people thing. not think. Don't worry, I hardly notice most of these things. Except the @ symbols. I definitely notice
Very
those.
well. Then touch the darkness, take nourishment. Let these souls withdrawn from their vessels, manifestation dispelled. Farewell, Ashen.
But yeah, it's just been, you know,
Tis good, wasn't he?
it's just hard. Upgrade my axe. Hopefully I'll be able to make some better tops.
Pretty beacon.
That's fine. You don't need to give me advice on that. I'm pretty sure the advice is mostly I just have shitty friends, but you know, that's a me problem. Yes, we are a 2-trumpet household. I don't know how my wrists would feel about holding up a trumpet constantly. And I mean, I also haven't played a wind instrument since high school, so... No, I'm aware, like, you know, I don't like to consider myself to be that, like, weird guy who's, like, calling himself woke all the time, but, like, I understand that, like, I just don't mesh with a lot of people, and you know, like, some of the people that the thing is, like, the people that I talk to on a regular basis aren't always, like, the best people for me, and, like, you know, some of the best friends that I have are not really good at communicating long distance, or just, like, I'm also not good at communicating long distance, so it makes it really difficult. But, like, you know, I certainly have friends that... It's mostly just space. Like, I'm not very good at communicating online. And, like, this is why I wanted to stream, because, like, I am so much more comfortable being able to talk to people face to face and being able to have a conversation rather than, like, communicating through text. Like, I don't even like to write you letters anymore, just because, like, I don't like having to sit there and wait for a response, like, you know. But I get that, yeah, like, I don't know how to initiate conversation with people I've never talked to before either. Like, you know, it's like, hey, how's it going? Nice weather. You know, it's just like, it feels so disingenuous is my problem. And, like, when you don't have something that, like, you need from somebody / want from somebody, then, you know, it's like, what other reason do you have other than, like, wanting to talk to people? And even in this age, like, it's, like, you know, people look at you funny if you just come up and it's like, hey, I just wanted to talk, because, like, they want to know why you want to talk. And if you come out and say, like, hey, I just want to talk because I need to make more friends or something like that, you don't always come off how you expect you would. Things in their lives or whatever. Yeah, like it feels bad when, like I talk to a friend that I haven't talked to in a while, and it's like, hey, how's it going? Like, what have you been up to? And it's like, yeah, you know, like, I did this, and this with my life. What did you do? And, like, especially, like, if they haven't, like, I feel like I haven't done anything really too significant other than, you know, earn a couple degrees. But, like, in my, like, being the person that's gone through all that, you know, like I don't necessarily see the value of it as much as somebody who doesn't know. But but when, you know, I go and talk to somebody that I haven't talked to since high school, and it's like, yeah, you know, I got a degree in music and I got a master's degree in library science, and then they're like, yeah, you know, I've been working as a busboy at a high chain restaurant. Like, it's like, yeah, like then like at that point I just like I don't feel like sharing my experience with people. Yeah, like I get it, it's news to people, but then like, you know, I never know how people are gonna feel about that. And that's kind of what makes me uncomfortable. Because, like, when I left high school, like, I don't know if it was, like, an anomaly or just, like, the trend at the time or what, but, like, most of the people that I went to high school with were, like, they were products of the 2008 recession. Like, they were either working minimum wage jobs. Like, when I talked to my dad on the phone the other week and he didn't know that one of the rats had died, I was like, oh, whoops, maybe I should have mentioned that. Yeah, that's another thing, too. Like, you know, like, how many people, like, when something like that happens in your life, do you have to, you know, make sure that you tell everybody? Like, how many, like, should you have a checklist of people just to make sure, like, yeah, you know, like, all these people know that your rat passed away? Like, of all things, God forbid they didn't know that your rat passed away. And I mean, like, it's sad for us, but, you know, like, quite frankly, people don't care. Like, you know, from what I've heard about your dad, he doesn't seem like he's got a bleeding heart for animals that much. I'm sure he cares about them, but, you know, not the same kind of way that we care about our animals. But yeah, like, you never know how people are gonna feel about that. And like, when I left high school, like, a lot of the other people were like, you know, they had been working minimum wage jobs through high school, and like, some of my friends had been, you know, they had to work to help their family because, like, you know, they're like, one of their parents got laid off or something like that. And like, you know, most of the people in my school, despite being a massive school in a relatively sizable city, most of the people in my school didn't have plans to go to post-secondary. My dad acts stoic, but he does like pets, so definitely growing up on a veal farm gave him a different perspective. Yeah, I mean, like, hearing stories about your dad, like, putting down animals and stuff, it's like, I could not do that, even if I knew it was the best thing for everybody. Like, I could not do it myself. But, you know, as you said, growing up on a farm gives you a different perspective. But, like, so yeah, like, a lot of them, you know, they didn't have plans to go to school, so, like, very few of my friends were going to post-secondary, and even fewer actually knew what they wanted to do. So, like, when I'm going around talking to all my friends about, like, hey, like, I'm enjoying my time here at school, they're like, well, good for you. I'm still doing the same thing, going to high school, and it's like, I've got no problem with that. Like, that was your choice, and you gotta deal with that. I don't know. Like, I don't know if it's the way I come across to other people, or, like, if I could be doing something differently, or just, like, people around me have just been, through poor luck, just bad people, but, like, I feel like a lot of them have just, like, they don't see me. Yeah, I suppose if it was him, it's not like I remember the stories of your childhood as well as you do. Yeah, like, it's such a pivotal time, and, like, especially now, like, I've got so much going on that, like, you know, I've spent the last hour just rambling into a microphone, and thankfully you're here to actually communicate with, instead of it just being me talking to myself. You know, it makes me feel a little bit better about it, but, like, you know, like, I've got so much going on, and I feel like everybody in my, like, everybody that doesn't know me immediately just feels that, like, you know, I'm just some hard worker that's gonna get by, and, you know, like, I should be happy with the things that I have. Like, not very many people have a master's degree at 24. Like, it's just not a common thing. And, you know, like, when I go and tell my other friend who's 24, who hasn't even been to college yet at all, and they're still thinking about, like, how to save up for it. Bad luck probably does contribute to your lack of friends, but unfortunately we can't know what's going on in everyone's head. Yeah, I mean, it's also part of the fact that I'm always kind of trying to figure out what's going on in other people's heads, and I shouldn't. Like, immediately, like, on first impressions and stuff, you know, I'll get along with people just fine, but, like, after a few weeks or a couple months or so, it gets to a point where it's like, I don't know what they're thinking anymore. And I think about that too much, and then I try and fill in the blanks, and that gets bad. It's mostly just, like, the guessing at all, like, you know, I shouldn't be trying to constantly figure people out all the time, and, like, try and figure out, you know, what they're thinking or what their motives are or anything. I should just, you know, like, lay it out on the table. Be like, you know, I like you as a friend. I want to spend more time with you. And not try and make it something complicated. But it always feels weird when you have to just, like, do things like that. And I don't know. It always comes back to, like, this, like, disingenuous or, like, inauthentic feeling. There, we killed him this time. Got ourselves a rod jam. Now we're gonna hopefully avoid this guy. This big boy. It's hard to go and put it all out there intentionally, yeah. Like, especially at this point, because, like, you know, all of my friends have graduated and moved out of the city, so, like, all the people I made friends with are gone again. So it's like, you know, like, I'm sitting here, like, I want to reach out, I want to be able to find people that I'm gonna hang out with and spend time with, but at the same time, like, I don't know. You know, where can I go? Who can I talk to? There's not really a lot of places that I can go where I can for sure know that I'm going to, you know, get the kind of reaction that I want.
Ah, 'tis good, 'tis what needs.
Like, I'm not afraid of conflict. I'm just afraid of conflict being the standard in my life.
Pretty be careful, I don't want.
Ah, how many?
What do you mean you don't sell arrows? Oh, yes you do, never mind.
Ashen One, be sure to bring more.
Maybe you are, but I am afraid of conflict. I mean, I used to be, like, I've started to be able to use it for myself, like my anxiety, and be able to like actually get through it and stuff. It's mostly just like, what bothers me is like going out and like that being the normal thing. Like there are people out there that like, you know, they can't go a day without starting an argument with somebody, and that's not who I am. And like, I don't want to keep going out into the world and interacting with other people if every time I go out there it's just going to be another shitty argument that gets nowhere. Choppy. Yeah, like, especially these days, like, you know, I don't want to be, like, I always have to be the person that, you know, like, I've got to poke the bear. I've got to be on the other side of every argument just for the sake of there being somebody else thinking about that side of the argument. And it's like, going to school, like going to library school in particular, where like 80% of your student body is basically just, you know, like rich white girls that are like, you know, like all they'd really talk about is like how shitty Trump is, and you know, like it's hard to say that, I don't know, a lot of them are just like they have good intentions, but they're only interested in like talking about political arguments that are just like low-hanging fruit. Like, nobody actually wants to like critically engage with the arguments that they have. They just want to be able to come right out and say it. Like there was one time when we were talking about a paper on Reader's Advisory, and basically it was like, what the paper was about was saying that like librarians need to be like more active in like telling their patrons what to read. So like, it's like people need to read more classics, so librarians need to take that and like tell people, you know, like this is what you should be reading at this time and stuff, and like make sure that people are reading like, you know, literary fiction and all the classics, and make sure that they're well up on it. And it's like, it was a shitty paper, it was a shitty argument, and we were talking about it, and like one of the girls in my class puts up her hand and she's like, I just think this guy's a misogynist and we shouldn't talk about his paper at all. And it's like, one, I'm inclined to agree with your comment that he's probably a misogynist, but two, we can't just ignore what we're talking about and move on just because you don't like it. And like she got visibly upset at the fact that like people completely ignored her comment, because like it's not to say that she was wrong, you know, like the guy probably very well was a sexist asshole. Like, I don't know the guy in real life, but like reading his paper, you know, he's trying to say that like women and other people of like certain dispositions need to read specifically like certain literature, and it's like that's not how it works. But like, you know, to come out and say like, oh, this guy's misogynist, just ignore him, like that's not an argument. And you know, like increasingly more and more you see that with people all the time, and it's like just because of the way that I am, like it's such a conflicting thing. I don't want to argue with people, but I always have to analyze the other side of everyone's argument. Yeah, like it is definitely not an argument. So it's like, but it puts someone like me in the position where it's like I have to tell somebody that because they're like, just because they're, you know, offended by that, like, you know, it puts me in a position where I have to defend some asshole that I don't like. And it's like, you know, I find myself in that position all the time just because there are increasingly more and more people that want to argue about things all the time, but don't know what they're talking about, and like don't even want to know what they're talking about. And I don't know, that's definitely something that it's like I also shouldn't be, you know, constantly afraid of something like that. Yeah, like, you know, somebody calls you an asshole online, you just ignore them, you don't give them fuel for that. But like, you know, we're not discussing the fact that this guy's an asshole, we're discussing the opinions that he's put down on paper, which is a lot more than just like a single comment. And trying to dismiss such with just a single comment is not, you know, an appropriate way to engage with other people. But like, as I said, I increasingly find myself in positions where, like, you know, like imagine like you're sitting here trying to defend censorship, and then people come out with shit like the Turner Diaries, like that is 100% like anti-Semitic garbage that like reasonably should never have been written in the first place by anybody, but it did. And like, as much as I don't want to read it, and as much as I don't want other people to read it, I'm still in a position where I have to defend censorship and being able to say like, yes, this should be accessible to people that want it. Like, you know, it's not a point of like, you know, getting hate material out to people that want hate material. No, it's about being able to, like, it's about, you know, freedom, but freedom of speech, freedom of expression, and like what this means for other people. And like, you know, if we start, like, if we ban something that becomes like completely like something that is very black and white, like this is hate material, we should get rid of it, then like, yeah, it sounds appropriate. But if it's like once we start doing that, then that's when like the definition starts to get shaky, and starts to get, you know, like it becomes a problem. Like we constantly have to fight with people over whether or not we should move the goalposts of what counts as hate material, but who gets to decide what is and is not hate material? That's the thing. Like, you know, should, like, even if it's the majority, like, should we allow the majority to decide that it is hate material? Like, or even just classifying it as hate material to begin with. Like, you know, it doesn't really engage with, like, the topics at hand. And I mean, it's always a discussion of, like, you know, once you start talking about what hate material is, then it piques people's interest and it gets people to actually, like, want to look more into what this hate material is about, which is the unfortunate thing, because that kind of doesn't always lead to a good outcome. So it's like, you know, I don't want to share the details of the Turner Diaries, but there's all kinds of things in that book that, like, even outside of hate material, like, it's not even hate material, it's just like, you know, it's got instructions to build a bomb in that book. And it's like, you know, when you're saying, like, yes, people shouldn't be censored and all that, and then somebody comes up and throws this argument in your face, like, oh, should our public library have a book that tells people how to build a bomb? And it's like, well, no, but, you know, you could also pick up a chemistry book that's going to tell you the same thing. Yeah, like, nobody needs instructions to build a bomb, but if somebody wants instructions for it, they'll find it either way. Like, I'm sure, like, we could probably dig up your old chemistry textbooks and build something out of that, but we're not going to, because, you know, we're reasonable people. We've discussed, you know, all these kinds of things and had plenty of, like, discussions throughout our lives with people that are important with us about why it's not an appropriate thing to build a bomb. And, like, whether or not we have the materials available to us or the instructions shouldn't change the fact that we should not build a bomb. You know. But at the same time, if I end up getting a job as, like, I don't know, a mining engineer, and, like, I need to know how to build an explosive inside of a mine, like, that's a completely different thing. Not that I would turn to hate material to find the instructions on how to build such an explosive, but yeah, like, you know. It's mostly just, like, people shouldn't be afraid of information. And the easiest thing to, like, you know, subside that fear of information is to get rid of it. And it never works. Even when it comes to, like, things like pronouns and, like, I don't know, like, people want to, like, outlaw dead naming. And I understand why, you know, dead naming is upsetting to you if you're a trans person who's changed your name. But, like, putting someone in jail because they got your name wrong is not, like that doesn't sound like the kind of world that I want to live in. Like, yeah, there's no getting rid of information. Like, if people want it, they'll find it. Like, that's why I'm so curious about video game history, because there's so many things out there that are lost, but it's not, it's like, they're lost, but it's not impossible for them to come back. Like, you know, there's all kinds of things that people have found over the years. Like, I was reading an article today. Excuse me. I was reading an article today about Super Metroid, which came out 26 years ago. 1994, so 25 years ago. 24. Yeah, like, and, like, there was an Easter egg in the game. Okay, though on the dead naming stuff, I would think people want to make it illegal less because it means, but because it can be dangerous. Yeah, like, that's definitely a point. Like, it can be dangerous and it can be upsetting to people, depending on, like, who they are and how they feel about that kind of thing. But, like, if dead naming a trans person outs them to a bunch of people in a place that they might not be safe, that is a bad thing. Yeah, like, I get that, but, like, the problem with doing something like that is that it becomes unsafe for people to, you know, like, let's say, like, you transition halfway through university and, you know, just out of whatever, like, negligence or just whatever, you haven't actually contacted the university to change your name yet. And, like, let's say you have a professor that, like, you know, on all of their official documents, like, your name is something else. And just, like, you know, because you're one of, like, hundreds of students that they have, and among, like, all kinds of different things, like, what, like, you know, like, people want to make it so that, like, that person can get charged because, like, they're just confused or, like, they make a mistake. And that's the problem. Like, there's a difference between, like, somebody being an asshole and doing something that can be potentially dangerous as an asshole, and, like, you know, like, just making a mistake. And, like, using things like proper pronouns and stuff. Like, if somebody's gonna, like, lose their job because they forget that one person out of a class of 200 uses some pronoun that they'd probably never heard before, you know. And it goes the opposite way too. Like, let's say, you know, you vote in a party that is, I'm right before a boss fight, so, like, I'm gonna finish up this conversation. Like, let's say, you know, you're right before, and can fix something that would probably require a subject mens rea anyway. Yeah, like, and that's the thing, you know. Like, being, like, a lot of people want to try and change the law so that it becomes more ambiguous, and, like, the best way to put it is accusing people of thought crimes, you know. Like, I can go, like, even just having this conversation, somebody can call me a misogynist and, you know, say that I don't actually support whatever, like, LGBT rights or feminist rights, but, like, you know, like, they don't know me, they don't know my opinions, and they're allowed to be of a different sort. But, like, if somebody tried to put me in jail because I was streaming these like, the things that I'm saying, like, that's a completely different story. Like, you know, I don't want to be accused of thought crimes, and it's definitely happened to me a lot where somebody has said something to me and, like, it's basically just accusing me of a thought crime. And it's like, that's not, like, did you even read 1984? Like, god damn it, you know. Anyway. That was more a rhetorical question. I wasn't really, like, asking you if you had read it. Like, most people have read it at this point, and it's mostly just, like, you know, whether or not the point actually got through to them. Because that book's all about, you know, like, thought crimes and not being able to say anything against the government or the public or anything like that. And it's like, and it goes the opposite way too. Like, let's say you do end up getting your perfect socialist government that outlaws dead naming people and makes it illegal to call people by their improper pronouns. And then a couple years later, we vote in a conservative government that is completely against that kind of thing. And they use the fact that that law has been in place to further oppress people that are not currently being oppressed by the way that the law is right now. Because, like, if we can make it illegal to call people, like, the wrong pronoun, then we can make it illegal for people to change their pronouns. Like, that's mainly the concern. It's like, people want to try and get rid of their freedoms just because they're afraid of having to deal with the consequences of their choices. deserved to beat that boss on the first try. That was... yeah. Air of Fire destroyed. But yeah, I mean, like, I should read 1984 again. But I mean, like, everybody really knows my opinion on it, that, you know, like, it served its purpose. I did it because I'm so fancy. It's okay. I've got my banner. I feel like something was supposed to happen here. Okay, you do that. my throat a little bit.
Welcome home, Ashen One. Speak thine heart's desire. Very well, then touch the darkness within me. Take nourishment.
Let's see. I don't know why, but it always bothers me when, like, my stats are odd numbers instead of even numbers. Especially when,
Farewell, Ashen.
you know, I can only increase them by 1 point at a time. Do I have a bone shard? Am I capable of burning? No. I do not have a bone shard. A little bit. It's just like, because if you go in and level something else up, it's like, oh, you're gonna stop leveling up that stat there? Like, you know, you're gonna stop at 29 instead of 30? Like, why wouldn't you just put one more point ahead into it? Like, no, it just looks better that way. Release the hands. Everywhere. Hopefully we won't have to deal with them anymore. At least, not here. I was wrong. And among all of these dead people,
Please, grant me death. Undo my shackles.
is someone not dead.
Oh. Oh, then it's true. A champion of Ash as I live and breathe. To be in your presence is a great honor. I am Njol of Londor, a pilgrim, as you can see, only somehow I failed to die as was ordained. Well, perhaps my calling lies elsewhere. Say, champion of Ash, how does the idea of taking me into your service strike you? I was once a sorcerer. Surely I can be of use.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, I am honored, truly. I should be dead, yet you have granted me purpose anew.
I, Yol of Londo, do solemnly swear myself to you.
Yeah, every good shrine needs pilgrim. Well, we closed the gate. Knock, knock. Here I come. That guy certainly should have been more intimidated. But he wasn't, and now he's dead. And now that I've sat at the bonfire, he's alive again. Right there. No eye ahead. I don't see any eye. It's always a question of whether or not to trust things written on the ground. Especially when I've played the first part of this game so many times and never seen that before. Backstab those guys, but I'm not gonna complain. Loretta's bone. Oh yeah, I never went back and opened up that cell. We got the key for it. We didn't open it. Yeah, maybe. I mean, I feel like it's safer inside the cell than outside the cell, but freedom is also something to consider, I suppose. Probably not the best of ideas. Oh, well, that's okay. We'll go open up that guy's cell. Did it change? Did it change to 4? I feel like I need to check this every time. It did change to 4. Just let me know if it doesn't change, and I'll tell you if I click something or if I didn't click anything and just forgot. Yes, tell me if it doesn't work. That's fine. I mean, I'm sure when other people are here, they will probably also do the same thing. You're perfectly entitled to do such. We want this one. But yeah, I'm sure like once we get later on, there's gonna be a lot more than like an average of like 1.3 deaths per hour. In fact, expect that number to climb tremendously once we get to something that gives me even remotely a hard time. Yeah, like 4 deaths is pretty good at this point, especially since it's mostly just been me like trying to do random stuff or just like talking and getting distracted, and then I get mobbed by a bunch of enemies. But like on the, I guess we'll just call it the failed stream from now on. Like in the failed stream, which I do have a recording of, I saved it at the very least. I don't know if I'll ever really share it, but it's there. Like, I died 3 times to the first boss alone, which is why I said I wasn't expecting to survive, or like do it on my first try.
Ah. You're no jailer, are you?
Nope.
No, you're from far away. And judging by the bell, you must be some of that unkindled ash. Remarkable. If that's true, then I have a favor to ask. Below the high wall is a musty little town. Not the home of any lord, just a very old settlement of undead. An old woman, Loretta, lives there. Please, give her this ring.
Yeah, about that.
I'm not asking for charity. In fact, if you do this for me, I'll be sure to repay you in kind. I may be a petty thief, but I've more wits than most royalty. What do you say then, huh? Very well. I humbly place my faith in you. I am Grey Rat of the Undead Settlement, and I promise to assist you. Give this ring to old Loretta at the base of the high wall. Do your part, and I'll do mine.
Yeah, I did do it this time. That's the thing too, like if you don't beat like with the first boss in particular, like you pull the sword out to initiate the boss fight, and immediately after you pull the sword out you can get in a few attacks on him before he starts moving. No, he left. He's gone back to the shrine. So you can get a couple attacks in on that first boss before he starts doing anything, but if you die to him, you don't get to pull the sword out of him again. Like, it just, like, it gives you a fog wall before the boss fight, and, you know, he's just like, he's up and at it as soon as you walk into the arena, so. So only on the first run do you get those special hits, so yeah. And I did, I guess. Not that he's particularly difficult, I just didn't choke this time. Oh yeah, he is down this way. So yeah, about that Loretta.
Oh, hello, you're back. And in one piece. Well, now it's time I do my part. Whatever trinket you need, speak up. Just don't ask me where I got them.
Well, I mean, it was metaphorical choking, so... Yeah, before I give him
Goodbye.
the bone, I want to see... Let's see... Old discolored human bone with several holes bored into it. A woman's corpse in the undead settlement was found clutching this bone. Her name was Loretta. So it's not actually her bone, it's just like... It's a keepsake. Interesting.
Oh, hello. And in one piece.
Well, I'm glad you could tell.
She was already dead. Thank you. I'm not surprised, though.
But whose
Almost
humorous was it?
really.
Apparently not Loretta's.
You can keep the ring as, well, a little trinket of thanks, I suppose.
Thrown behind. That's neat. Well, I appreciate that, you know. What? Well, we get to keep the ring, so we can put it on. Let's see. think we'll go take care of that dragon first. Well, not that one. That one's already dead. Yep, dragon. Biggest dragon. Well, I'm glad it was me that was doing that thing because I wasn't quite sure there. Just take care of those guys so they don't sneak up on me. Listening to angry dragons, but I get it. I understand. Yeah, we're not gonna kill this guy. Just shoot him a bunch of times. So he flies away. Kill him. walk away. Killed the mimic. Deep battle axe. This one does dark damage, but it has no attribute buffs. Oh, I'll equip it and see if it does any extra damage. That was a mimic. That was not a chest. Belly. Hey buddy, got a new axe. Oh. Shield to the face. I should have died. I did it. Yeah, this normal battle axe is 100% better than that other one. Okay, well, it's almost 11 o'clock, and I don't really know what else I can do in 10 minutes, so I think I'll just end it here. Yay for good axe, yes. Good axe. Well, let's see. Go back here first. And I'll just quit the game. Well, thank you for being there and watching me. I'm sure it was the most interesting thing you've done in the last year or something. I don't know. You're welcome. Thank you for the you're welcome. I don't know. I feel silly, but I don't know. If anybody else watches this in the future, thank you for watching it, I guess. And I don't know, maybe Maybe I'll stream a bit tomorrow. We'll see.